Welcome to The Capitalist Camouflage, the podcast where we dive deep into the Canadian economy, social programs, and whether we're truly a capitalist society or just playing dress-up. Are we just socialists wrapped in a capitalist flag? Let's find out. Canada presents itself as a free-market capitalist economy. But unlike the United States, we have universal healthcare, heavily subsidized education, government-controlled liquor stores in many provinces, strict banking regulations that prevented a 2008-style collapse, and crown corporations like the CBC, Canada Post, and Hydro Utilities. Is this a capitalist system, or is Canada a hybrid economy leaning towards socialism? Canada is a hybrid economy that leans towards socialism while maintaining capitalist foundations. It allows private enterprise and wealth accumulation, but has a high level of government intervention through social programs and regulations. Why does Canada appear capitalist? Private business and investment. The economy thrives on free market principles, with businesses operating independently. Stock market and entrepreneurship. Canadians invest heavily in real estate, stocks, and businesses. Competitive corporate tax rates. Canada attracts global companies with relatively low corporate taxes. Trade in global markets. As a major trading nation, Canada relies on international markets and capitalism to fuel growth. Why does Canada lean towards socialism? Well, let's dive in. Universal healthcare is government-funded, ensuring access for all citizens. There's a strong social safety net with employment insurance, child benefits, and public pensions that help redistribute wealth. Public housing and education receive government subsidies and tuition assistance, making essential services more affordable. Crown corporations like CBC, Canada Post, and provincial utilities are operated by the government. When it comes to healthcare, it's universal and publicly funded, but private elements are sneaking in. Employment insurance, or EI, is more generous than unemployment benefits in the United States. Child benefits are government handouts to families, something unheard of in places like the U.S. public pensions, such as the Canada Pension Plan, CPP, are quite different from the 401k plans seen in the U.S. Comparing Canada to the U.S., there's more government intervention here. Compared to Nordic countries, Canada has less intervention but is similar in key areas. And when we look at the UK, the structure is similar, but Canada has stronger welfare support. Let's switch gears to the capitalist side of Canada. The real estate market is booming, with Toronto and Vancouver among the most expensive cities in the world. The stock market and investment culture thrive with RRSPs, the TSX, and a strong emphasis on entrepreneurship. Corporate taxes are lower than in many socialist-leaning European nations. Plus, Canada's resource-driven economy, with oil, mining, and forestry, plays a massive role. Does this prove Canada is still capitalist? Or is it just capitalism with training wheels? Well, Canada is capitalism with training wheels, or maybe even capitalism with a safety net. It allows for free markets and private enterprise, but the government steps in more than a typical capitalist country to ensure economic stability and social welfare. So, why does Canada still qualify as capitalist? It has a free market economy where businesses operate independently, trade is encouraged, and investors can build wealth. Private property rights allow Canadians to own land, start businesses, and accumulate personal wealth. The competitive corporate environment attracts global businesses with low corporate tax rates and trade agreements. And the stock market culture with the TSX and RRSP investments thrives in a capitalist system. Why does it feel like capitalism with training wheels? There's heavy government involvement. The state controls major industries like healthcare, power, and media, such as CBC. Wealth redistribution occurs through taxes that fund universal programs like healthcare, childcare, and old-age security. Crown corporations mean the government competes with private businesses in key sectors. Stricter banking regulations protect consumers, but also limit financial risk-taking compared to U.S. markets. Canada isn't purely capitalist like the US, nor is it fully socialist like some European nations. Instead, it borrows elements from both, creating a system that allows wealth accumulation while providing a safety net for citizens. Some call it socialism light, while others see it as capitalism with guardrails. Either way, it's a model that seems to work, at least for now. So, do you think Canada should lean further into capitalism or embrace more socialist policies? Now let's look at where we might be headed. There's a growing demand for universal basic income, which would mean more government intervention. Increasing housing regulations could indicate more socialist control. The public versus private healthcare debate raises the question, will we shift toward US-style capitalism? And what about political trends? Are we leaning more left or right? Canada isn't purely socialist, but it isn't a full-on capitalist free market either. It operates a hybrid model that balances market-driven growth with government intervention, similar to Scandinavian countries but with a North American twist. So, would you say this balance works well, or do you think Canada should shift more one way or the other?